year is nearly here, and I'm sure all of you watching have a big long list of what games you want to see at this year's E3. We are going to be covering the hottest games and all of the conferences, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Until that fateful day though, let's speculate as to what surprises Bethesda may have at their conference this year. Quake Champions has spent some time in the hands of players with its recent run of betas, so it makes sense that we will finally see the final fully fleshed out first-person shooter on stage this year. I spent some time with Quake Champions during the beta, and while I had a lot of fun firing quad damage rockets and gibbing folk with railguns, I'm interested to see how a very old school multiplayer shooter does in the current gaming space. Hopefully they'll show off some new weapons, new maps, new characters, and if I had to guess, some big support for the esports scene.
Excellent.
It looks like 2 new games will be getting announced this year as well, and thanks to various leaks and teasers, we have a pretty good idea of what those games may be. That is of course the next Wolfenstein game, and The Evil Within 2. During their showcase last year, Bethesda started proceedings with this old school style MS-DOS command line screen. On said screen they list older Wolfenstein games along with their release dates: Wolfenstein 3D, Wolfenstein New Order, Old Blood, followed by the new Colossus, with an unspecified release date. When asked about the E3 tease in an interview with Two Left Sticks, Brian Bloom, the voice actor for BJ Blazkowicz, said, "I'll be safe with this answer. If you look at Bethesda's E3 2016 lineup, there was a title hinted at in a very cool way. It sparked a bit of wildfire. That subtle, very simple DOS language going through the titles. Perhaps we're working on that as we speak." So it seems like a pretty safe bet that New Colossus could be the next badass adventure for BJ.
What have you been up to, Blazkowicz?
Shooting, stabbing, strangling Nazis.
Now when it comes to The Evil Within 2, earlier this year an eagle-eyed NeoGAF user spotted a job description for a translator and a QA position opening at TangoWorks. The roles to be connected to Psycho Break 2, Psycho Break being the Japanese name for The Evil Within. TangoWorks have also said that they wanted The Evil Within to be a franchise, not just a single game, so the chance to see more of Shinji Mikami's terrifying machinations seem pretty high. Some of this can be supported by an image that Pete Hines tweeted on the 28th of April. Their E3-style theme park of Bethesda Land shows 2 under construction attractions, and also hints at what else we could see from them at E3. With Quake and Wolfenstein in mind, we may get to see more of the old school shooter, reborn this time in the shape of Doom. A year after release, Doom has been supported with a number of multiplayer DLCs, but many are still waiting to see more of Doom Guy's story after that cliffhanger ending at the end of the single-player campaign. Now there's a chance that Bethesda's conference might be quite DLC heavy. Now we've got Doom in mind, it may be a little early for them to be talking about Prey DLC, but it seems like a perfect time to talk about returning to Karnaca. Dishonored 2 opened up the world past the confines of Dunwall, but I'm unsure whether a Dishonored 2 DLC will go beyond the seas of Karnaca or explore other characters similar to the Knife of Dunwall DLC. I'd be excited to play through some of the moments between the 2 games, see Emily's training, or perhaps explore the shady past of Megan Foster, or even her shadier future at the end of Dishonored 2. With the incredible amount of replayability, and with the support of Dishonored 2's free updates, it seems like the time is right to dig out our folding swords, and set sail back to the Jewel of the South at the edge of the world. For everyone still exploring the world of the Elder Scrolls, you may get some more content for Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind releases on June the 6th, the week before E3, so Bethesda may be keen to share with their players what's next for their MMO. There's still tons of Tamriel to explore, which means plenty more potential expansions and worlds for players to traverse and adventure through. New lands, new items, perhaps even new classes. With quite a healthy player base and the support of a huge IP, and more lore than you can shake a Khajiit's tail at, things could be good for Elder Scrolls Online for a long while to come. And speaking of Elder Scrolls, you can call me optimistic all you like, but I'm hopeful we will get some hints towards the next full single-player Elder Scrolls adventure. There was a 4-year gap between Morrowind and Oblivion, followed by a 5-year gap between Oblivion and Skyrim, and now it's been nearly 6 years since Skyrim graced our PCs and consoles, so the timing seems right. With Skyrim coming to the Switch and the special edition being released last year, the environment seems right for the next Elder Scrolls adventure. Thousands of people still play this incredible series over a number of different systems, and thousands more want to explore those untouched areas of Tamriel. Now, will we get to see gameplay or a release date? I doubt it, but a nice little tease? I'm hoping so. And while we're talking about our hopes and dreams, if we could get some information on whether or not Obsidian are working on the next Fallout game, I think that would make a lot of Vault Dwellers very happy. Here's hoping. So while Bethesda are keeping their secrets locked up for E3 this year, this is our list of what we're hopeful for and what we may see. Bethesda have surprised us numerous times in the past with their announcements, and I'm sure they've got something up their sleeve. If there are any Bethesda titles you're hopeful for, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to keep up to date with everything E3 2017, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and download the GameSpot Now app for your iOS or Android device to keep you in the know when you're on the go.
Siwa, my home, the sacred oasis.
Our Medjay, the last protector, our treasure and faith. Siwa has not been the same since the next. I hope you are here to rid us of Medina Moon.
Be my eyes, Senu. This temple resembles a fortress. What has happened?
Get out of my way.
There you are, Medunamon. The next masked one on my list. Now it is my turn to tip the balance of Anubis. Better be careful here.
I should go drop these priests to death. Let us stand to take them.
A fine bow.
dead priest, they will surely revolt.
It is too dangerous. I will pass for now. Guide me, Senu. Betunamun. You will die, Medunamun.
Die, you bastard! Going to kill you for that! See what is mine!
Finally.
What would you do if the world you knew was gone? All the comforts, the simple pleasures you took for granted. How would you protect yourself and the ones you love when the protectors can't even save themselves?
Your army's pulling out. Come on. Last truck. Get in.
Want some of this? How about you?
How will you decide who belongs?
Thanks. I owe you.
How will you choose a place to call home? How will you build it? Work together to defend it from the terror just outside the walls. When you get hungry, cold, what risks will you take? What mistakes will you make? When the only family you've got is about to tear itself apart, will you end a life?
Wait,
Or save it?
please.
This is our only one, but we need everybody we've got. When you get in too deep and realize no one gets a second chance.
How will you find the strength to carry on? In this world of the living and the dead, how will you survive?
Hi, I'm John Warner, game director for Anthem. Here is the world premiere of Anthem's gameplay.
Hey!
Freelancer.
Frag sling.
Listen, there's trouble. Big trouble.
What did you do?
I made a mistake. I hired some people. They weren't freelancers. I know. They said they could handle it, and the price was right. I thought maybe...
Unbelievable.
You're right. It was stupid. I'm sorry. But they're still out there. Somewhere. If you could just bring them back. Anything you need.
In the world of Anthem, you and your friends are freelancers, the heroes who leave the safety of the walls of Fort Tarsus to explore the unknown and protect humanity. Let's join two players as they head out on an expedition.
Hey, Paul. You ready to go?
I'm just grabbing some supplies. Just about ready.
What are you going to use today?
I decided to go with the Colossus.
I'm going to use my Ranger. Try out some new upgrades.
Every player will own an array of exosuits we call javelins. These suits give players superhuman capabilities and are heavily customizable so they look and play how you want.
Bam! Looking good. Nice, you've got a mortar equipped.
Yeah, I got it on the weekend. You lead the way, I'll follow.
This is a vast open world you explore with your friends. Each Javelin exosuit has its own unique playstyle. The Ranger is balanced and all-purpose, while the Colossus is a tanking powerhouse.
All right, let's see what's up here.
The world of Anthem is hostile, and threats can come from any direction. This dynamic world where the unexpected is around every corner.
Yeah, he seems like a problem for another day.
We're getting some fire from ahead.
I'll go low. You flank.
Hang in there. Almost there. Have you been in there yet?
I haven't. We should do that later with Kim.
Yeah, you could use the XP. Hello, treasure. I think we got some action there.
Anyone, we're under attack. Anyone in the area, we're under attack.
I think that's part of Praxis' mission.
You can equip your Javelin exosuit with gear that brings devastating power to combat.
Oh, there are a lot of scars down there. Oh, the scars have a heavy.
I have time to use that mortar. Give me some covering fire. There's a bunch more coming in.
Okay, I'll get this round.
Thanks.
Oh, come on. Be something good. Oh, yes! Jer's wrap.
Oh, nice.
Large-scale world events like Shaper Storms are dynamic and pull you off the beaten path with the promise of new stories to discover.
Oh, shipper storm incoming. Okay, actually, let's get some more people. Hold on a sec.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's happening?
I'm right behind you. Whoa. This storm is getting crazy. So what are we supposed to do? Fly into it?
All right, let's do this.
See you on the other side.
Our story is out there.
Remember me? You tried to humiliate me. You left your mark on me, but it didn't work. You burned my mind. I'll kill you. Until this moment, you have not known suffering. I've had enough of your mouth, Bruce. So now I'm gonna kill you. For all these orcs to see.
Always said you were an optimist. Know what that is, mate? It's about sizing up a situation that's bloody impossible and saying, yeah, all right, I'll have a go. I'm exactly the same way.
I like him.
Bruce killed the boss! Come on, lads!
In Shadow of Mordor, we introduced a way to create unique personal stories for every player. And in Shadow of War, we're expanding the Nemesis system. 2 new features we're really excited about are forging an army of followers and Nemesis fortresses. Here, we'll use the Ring of Power and recruit this Olog, Bruce the Chopper, to expand our army. Then, we're going to assault a fortress controlled by one of Sauron's overlords.
Oh, that was nasty.
Oi! Reckon you're going to skewer me? That little sword's good for a tickle, maybe. But you're gonna need more than that to take me down. Nice one, Ranger. This has never happened to me before.
You serve the Bright Lord now.
Bright Lord, Dark Lord. Same thing, really. End result's me ripping spines out, which I like to do anyway, so either way's a win.
A fine addition to our army.
Name's Bruce. From here on out, I will be your shadow. No one gets to you without my say-so.
Don't worry about my enemies. They will all follow eventually.
You want to plant your flag in Mordor, you'll need to do it deep. There's a fortress nearby. They say it's ruled by a 2-headed troll big as a mountain and deadly smart, which, well, I guess he'd have to be given the 2 heads. You take him down, you'll send a message to Sauron and get yourself some nice new digs as part of the bargain.
We're not going to do this alone. Gather your troops.
Will do. Ooh, just make sure you let me pop his heads off, won't ya?
So we already have a few loyal followers in our army, and recruiting Bruce means we're ready to assault the fortress and overthrow the Overlord. We're enormously expanding the open world of Mordor to new regions like Saragost and Cirith Ungol. Mordor's a massive, living, breathing world filled with orc society, tribes, and wildlife, as well as stories and secrets.
You cleaved me in two. Any other orc would have died, but I survived. More than that, I thrived. My brothers put me back together, stronger than ever. But they didn't make me into what I am. You did. You created the machine. No!
We've just been ambushed by the machine. He's tracked us across Mordor seeking vengeance. He's one of the 7 new orc tribes we've added.
The machine will grind you to paste! I hate big sticks! Finally! You dishonor the Styrians!
Instead of killing the machine, we'll dominate him, so we can take advantage of his abilities during the fortress assault.
You take out the Overlord.
But before we charge headfirst into battle, we should plan our attack and select our followers.
My black speech is a little rusty. Actually, I don't know a single word, which is a pain in the ass, but to hazard a guess, he said you're all gonna die horribly. Yeah, my kind of black.
Well, I will handle the Overlord. You focus on the defenders.
Define focus.
There are unlimited ways to forge your story and conquer Mordor in Shadow of War, and we can't wait to show you more this week at E3. Thank you very much.
Motherfucker. They killed the power around the world. We're gonna light it back up, because this is far from over. In fact, it's only just begun. That's why we brought in you. You got the talent. Now you need the tech. Big things do far! Today, you throw grenades. Boom! Tomorrow, you'll be throwing cars. Forget dropping bombs. You're dropping buildings. Now it's time to get to work. Time to step up your boom. It's go time. Oh yeah, welcome to the agency.
Determination to conquer all my ambitions. Made it to this position, and so my disposition. Not seeing no limits, killing the competition. Yeah, I'm a beast. Now I'm released. Ready to feast, calm and peace, not in the least. I think that I'm number one. Just to keep it 100. 0 to 100. Show you how much I want. Are you a beast? Are you released? You ready to feast, or do you want peace, not in the least? Do you think you're number one? Can you keep it 100? 0 to 100. Show me how much you want it. Some people never have trouble. That's why they don't know what the struggle is. I don't pay the cost and lean off the boss. Analyze my losses. Now I'm taking off. Yeah, I'm a beast. Now I'm released. Ready to feast. Peace, not the least. I think
The joy of a new voyage far across the Sea of Thieves. Just you, the wide open world, and oh, well, it's not just you, she's here too. Oh, and this guy's here. But the point is, this is a shared world, ripe for exploring and raiding with your fine pirate crew. Look at them! Scurrying around, making themselves useful. That's what we like to see. The world of Sea of Thieves seethes with possibilities, with adventures skulking above and below the waves. All you have to do is jump in and oh, there she goes. Few things tempt a pirate like the siren song of a lootable shipwreck. Careful though, there could be anything down there. Literally, there could be anything. We haven't finished designing it yet. Joking, that was a joke. Ah, sunken treasure. It's like a pirate performance bonus. Every player's decisions and discoveries will be different, but however you plan on seeking your fortune, it pays to be prepared. For gigantic lumps of iron, these are surprisingly portable. Amazing workmanship. Anyway, better get them back on board while the coast is clear. There's really no sense in pushing your luck down here. Now that is not a beast you want to pick a fight with. Yes, it's possible to take on these toothy terrors of the deep, but you're not much used to your crew bitten in two. Sometimes a tactical retreat is perfectly acceptable, in the spirit of that legendary pirate captain, Pathetic Dave. Thankfully, for every tense standoff, there's a moment of celebration or shared wonder. But for now, stow your hard-earned loot and enjoy the voyage. On Devil's Ridge beneath the sands, the gold lies hidden from thieving hands. Well, that's typical. Oh look! Here we are at Devil's Ridge. Nice transition, by the way. And so you'll shift from the heart of the sea to the island shore, where you'll explore jungles and coves, cliff tops and caverns. Every region has its very own landmarks, and over time, you'll uncover hidden shortcuts, abandoned stashes, and vistas that will steal your grog-soaked breath away. And yes, sometimes you'll encounter people who, for whatever reason, would like to blow you into little pieces. That's pirating for you. Keep that pistol primed, because you'll also face the roaming remains of those raiders who came before you, caught short in pursuit of their own legends. An afterlife of fighting and troublemaking until all your bits fall off. It's what they would have wanted. Now, make sure your crewmates all have a part to play. Yep, that works. And look, he brought the riddle map. Seek the cursed boar shrine where there is no sky. It lies in wait for a light held high. Right, well that's got to be around here somewhere. But if you've got a bad feeling, you can always leave someone on board to brace the ship for a speedy getaway. Decisions. Ah, looks like they've sniffed out that place where there is no sky. Time to pool your resources as you plunge into the unknown. It would be easy to come a cropper in these claustrophobic caves. You don't want to wander off track. Unless, of course, you're streaming, and you'll have loads of people in the chat telling you what to do anyway. Don't mind that, it's probably nothing. Just kids. Of course, the premier plunder isn't just lying around to be claimed by any old drunken bumbler. You'll need to watch out for likely locations, following your map, clues, and your instincts to make light work of each new mystery. Light work. Little lantern joke there. You're welcome. Anyway, step 11 paces northwest, through the gloom. Dig my chest from its tomb. And with that, we're one step closer to payday. Then again, some of the loot in these parts has lain undisturbed for a long, long time. That has to be the spot. You can practically taste the treasure. Good call on the double-duty shovel work too. That storm outside was nipping at your heels. Ah, very nice. Of course, the trouble with treasure, as a rule, is that the owners really like to hang on to it. If you've got your hands full, it's up to your crew to watch your back. And while they're doing that, it's time for another strategic withdrawal with the loot. Nope, not that way. That's it. Easy now. Don't stop, keep going. Almost there. Watch that next step, it's a doozy. Now that's a rescue. If you can regularly beat the odds and get chests back to your ship, you'll be able to turn a tidy profit by trading them in at an outpost. It's just the tiny matter of making it through this storm in one piece. Pirate life is here on the Sea of Thieves, and you can live yours however you want. So rally your crew. Swear your oaths and set sail for riches and infamy. Become a pirate of legend. Just try not to be this one.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to GameSpot's E3 stage. In approximately 30 minutes, Bethesda is going to take their own stage to start their press conference at 9 p.m. Pacific, late night press conference. But right now, we figured we'd get together, hang out, talk about our predictions, our hopes for that press conference. I'm your host, Mike Mahardy. I'm here with Justin Haywald.
Howdy, howdy.
Jess McDonald.
Hello.
And Dave Jewett.
Hello.
We know a few things about the conference that we're going to see. There's been a few leaks throughout this week.
It's the weekend.
Well, it's E3.
Ooh.
Like, it wouldn't be E3 without things.
It's a very
leaking out
leaky
everywhere.
E3 there.
A substantial number of them
Yeah.
were Bethesda games, but we can get to that. I want to start off with the ones that we know we'll probably see. Dave Jewett, you've played a fair amount of Quake Champions.
A little bit, yeah.
And you play a lot of shooters. You play a lot of Overwatch. I know that. You've been playing like Battlegrounds and whatnot, but Quake Champions we'll probably see more of tonight at the press conference. So far, what are your impressions of the game? Like, obviously, Bethesda's done really good with these reboots of old school shooters. Wolfenstein: The New Order being one, or the new Colossus, which we can get into. And then Doom, of course, last year, which was fantastic in my opinion. But with Quake Champions, a lot of people are hesitant to say whether it's, it pays good homage to the older games. But in your opinion, how has it been so far?
It's funny you mentioned Doom because the multiplayer for Doom very much felt like it was an experiment towards Quake. There's a lot of parallels between the two. Quake is more fluid, it's more refined, but there's loads of it that really just rubs me the wrong way. It's free to play, and you can do things like rent new champions, which is fine, but there are small differences between each champion, and it can be kind of frustrating when you're sinking all those hours in and you want to play a certain way and it's just kind of locked.
Well, the models are really different, but it seems like in some ways this would be their answer to Overwatch, and it hasn't captured people's attention in the same way quite. I mean, it's not out yet, but...
No, the champions aren't nearly as different as the heroes in Overwatch. There's only minor things, but the core gameplay, it plays like you expect a Quake 2. It really is the tight, quick Quake that a lot of people knew and loved. But it's the very surface level stuff that's frustrating. But from what I've played, you can play it completely free to play without being held back in any way, which is in like today's gaming market is such a plus.
Yeah, so like mechanically, in terms of how it feels, does it feel like Quake 2, the games you remember from?
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a really good job. It's super fluid, super responsive. I played on PC. I can't really comment how to play anywhere else, but from what I played, it felt like when I used to boot up like my Windows XP machine and play Quake.
Yeah.
It just looked prettier.
Jess, did you play the older Quake games at all? Did you get the chance, or were they not really a thing?
No, I pretty much missed Quake, but you have to respect the fact that they're bringing back the household name, and I like what they're doing with it. I like what they've done with Doom, and hopefully we can see them not let down the name. But yeah, I think it's going to attract people just because it's Quake at the end of the day. So hopefully the mechanics stack up.
Yeah, obviously the shooter to compare things to, or at least one of them, is Overwatch. And I think when people saw the champions, they assumed that maybe they're going for this like hero shooter kind of thing to compete with that. But you look at the actual gameplay, and Lawbreakers doesn't have the same visibility as Overwatch, but gameplay-wise, I think this is actually more similar to that. Justin, are these your type of games, or do you prefer something that with Overwatch? Like, I know you're a Mercy main, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Nice.
I am a Mercy. That's not a negative thing.
No, that's
I like
not what I
Mercy
meant.
too.
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't say Mercy mains or would love Quake off the bat. I would say maybe like if you're a McCree fan or someone, or I don't know, like a Widowmaker.
No, I always love Team Fortress 2. Like, I love games where you're playing in a group and you get to take a role. And I love being a support class. And Quake, to me, has always been one of those competitive games. Like, I love Counter-Strike, and I love playing that with my friends, and like that's that kind of competitive aspect of it. And Quake has always meant that to me. It's very fast-paced, and it means unforgivingly aggressive in how good you have to be. And I'm not the best shooter player. I'm a Mercy main partially because my aim is so bad.
You can hold a button and go to the next player.
It feels really good. But it's like I'm intrigued by Quake from that nostalgia point of view. Like, I remember growing up and like Quake, to me, like playing that, like that was just a high-end PC game. Like, that's something that was stressing your PC to its limits. And nostalgia-wise, for me, it doesn't quite hold up as much as the experience of something like Overwatch, which has brought me in a new way. I don't know if I want to go back to Quake.
Dave, from the time you spent with this game so far, what do you think they'll show tonight that we haven't seen so far?
My assumption is they might show off like new champions or new maps, but I'm guessing they're gonna try and push for some like heavy esports support. Like that's something that every dev and publisher wants to push now. Bethesda doesn't really have a foothold in that. But at the same time, they've got this giant IP that's got a lot of legs to it. It's got a lot of history to it. And the original Quakes did have that esports prestige, and it gave birth to a lot of other games. I think they're going to want to start like Quake tournaments.
Right. I do want to move over to Elder Scrolls, as we're likely to see potentially a lot
Elder
of
Scrolls
that
6.
Unfortunately, not the one you want, but the one you're getting.
Yes. Well, a few. So I
Yes.
want to start with Elder Scrolls Online. Just released Morrowind last week.
Yeah.
And people have been playing that. Do any of you guys play Elder Scrolls Online? I know you've dabbled in it, right, Justin?
I played it when it came out.
Yeah.
Morrowind, like, I think was a really good way to reinvigorate the franchise. Like, it is a really interesting take on it and bringing people back in. But at the same time, it's, especially for people in our line of work, getting sucked into an MMO is already a really hard thing to do.
It's a scary prospect.
Morrowind didn't quite have enough to keep me going.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see anything more from that tonight? Like, Dave, you and I were talking about, like, you know, like our wildest dream would be Elder Scrolls 6, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, we got really geeky about it. In the naming conventions, you know, every other game is actually named by the location it's set in. So there's Skyrim and there's Daggerfall and Morrowind, but then there's like Arena and Oblivion. So the next one, ostensibly, whenever it gets announced, would not be called like Elsewhere or Black Marsh. These locations that exist in Tamriel. But you were saying you'd think that Bethesda would be more likely to use one of those locations as maybe a future expansion in Elder Scrolls Online. Do you think that might be something we'd see tonight, a week after Morrowind releases?
I'm not sure if we're going to see any specifics, but because Morrowind just came out and it's got that reinvigoration, I think now would be a really smart time to show the future of Elder Scrolls Online. A lot of fans have jumped back into it. There's a lot of long-time fans. They're all going to want to know what the 1-year plan is, the 2-year plan is, the 5-year plan is, because an MMO, it's when you play an MMO, you want it to be there for a long time. Like World of Warcraft is still huge. You want that character that you've built, that story you've built, that experience you've built to go on for a long time. So I think that's every Elder Scrolls Online fan wants to know what's going to happen over the next months and years. I think that's what they're going to show off.
It's an interesting time for Bethesda as well, because having just brought out Morrowind, I was reading up on it, and you can actually just start a new character in the Morrowind expansion. So for people who had kind of ummed and ahed about it, I played it for a few hours, hoping it was going to be the single-player Elder Scrolls game that I wanted it to be, and I'm not a huge fan of MMOs, and it kind of brought me down because of that. But the fact that you're going to be able to play in Morrowind, and we didn't get that Morrowind remaster that I think some of us had our fingers crossed for, it is a chance to re-explore that world. And because it's been so many years since we've had Skyrim, I mean, I'm certainly tempted as an Elder Scrolls fan just to try the MMO thing again, just so I can explore Morrowind. And there is a lot of people who say it does work as a single-player experience, so it'll be interesting to see if it can pull people in. I think it's going to be all about the Elder Scrolls Online marketing push, just trying to get people into that game. This is the perfect time for it.
To go deeper into the Elder Scrolls rabbit hole, Elder Scrolls Legends trading card game. Justin, I know you play a lot of Hearthstone in your time. Obviously, we have Gwent now, which a bunch of people on staff have been playing, which of course arose out of The Witcher 3 as a mini game, and now it's a full game. But Elder Scrolls is taking its turn at the deck building.
Yeah, I played a lot of Magic back in the day, and I love this turn towards online card-based games, because I don't feel like, even though I'm sometimes spending a ridiculous amount of money, I don't feel like I'm spending quite as much money. I don't have boxes of embarrassing cards that I have to hide in a closet.
You're what they call a whale.
Yeah.
Spending too much money on these.
So, the turn that they're doing with Elder Scrolls Legends, like once it gets on phone, like that's when it's going to blow up. But I think what's different about it is this focus on kind of a single-player experience, which you're missing in Hearthstone, which you're missing in Gwent. Like, and I'm really intrigued by how that's going to pull in Elder Scrolls fans, because that's what you want in an Elder Scrolls.
Well, not only that, it actually has a really somewhat interesting quest system, because, like, again, much like online, it's trying to pull in the single RPG fans. And as you play along, I played a few hours of this one so far, it's got a story mode, basically. So as you go along, you know, you're facing against wolves. The wolves come in the form of cards. You're facing against, you know, brigands, and they come as cards as well. I personally think it's a fairly solid game. It's really hard for it to find a market to compete in right now against games like Hearthstone. But it's, I think, still got that appeal. It's got that Elder Scrolls name. So I reckon, as you say, when it comes to phones, when it comes to mobile, it might actually find some fans.
Is it just on PC right now? Like
so it's on tablets as well. It's coming. It's like it's very slowly making that transition. So you can play it on tablet devices.
Yeah.
I think they've got a good opportunity to kind of complement each other now.
Yeah.
Like if they made some compatibility between Elder Scrolls Legends and Elder Scrolls Online, like if you could play in game, for example, play Elder Scrolls Legends on your phone to earn rewards in online, that would get both player bases.
Bethesda
together.
has a marketing position open. I think you might want to go talk to them.
I mean, making that
get some
comparison
syndication.
Making that Blizzard comparison, like Heroes of the Storm is a game that I think does really well because it drawing that Overwatch fans. If you do the same thing with
I would have
Elder
never
Scrolls
played
Legends,
Heroes of the Storm if it wasn't for that Diva skin.
Several people on our staff would go in to play like however many matches is required for the new Genji skin or whatnot.
They could totally work that out.
Before we move off Elder Scrolls, you think we'll see Skyrim on Switch tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even though they have completely not confirmed it, it's on. Then there's a Nintendo page with the Elder Scrolls.
It was one of
It's in the trailer.
Yeah, that guy was playing on the plane
He
in
was
the
playing on the
Switch
plane.
announcement. It's the weirdest thing where Bethesda was like, yeah, we have it, but it's not confirmed.
It's
does that
not
mean?
100% confirmed, and I think that's what they're going to do. Like, it's not going to be part of Nintendo's conference. They have 30 minutes, and I think the Bethesda one's also going to be pretty short, but they're definitely going to take time out and show the game on Switch.
Bethesda always have room for Skyrim.
Yeah. And then as far as we're talking about things that Todd Howard would be likely to announce, he's been talking about Fallout 4 VR for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You think tonight's the night we finally they're
It's gotta
like, ready?
happen.
Yeah, I mean I've talked to him a few times over the last year or so about like Fallout 4 stuff and Skyrim on Switch and just like where open world games are going in general. And he always talks about it, and of course I'm sure he feels obligated to, but this is one of those things that actually gets me excited for VR. I played through Resident Evil 7 in VR, but Fallout 4, the idea of that massive open world in VR seems like something I could really get lost in, and I'm still skeptical about how immersive it's going to be if everything VR seems like toned down to support the technology.
It does. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? Like being able to play like a Bethesda RPG. I mean, at least for me, when I first heard about VR, I was like, that's what I want. Oh my gosh, I want to be in that world. I want to be in, Elder Scrolls. I want to be in Fallout. But I don't know how practical it's going to be.
I was the opposite.
I want it to work.
I'm one of many who don't really enjoy the feel of VR, get kind of motion sick.
Yeah.
And I know the controls for Fallout 4 are very different. You have like the teleport thing to stop you from feeling that. But I also I will immerse like 8 hours into an RPG. I don't want to be wearing that thing for 8 hours because I will probably just turn inside out from it.
I don't get sick, but especially this last year and having a lot more VR experiences come out, playing them for multiple hours at a time, it doesn't make me sick. It's just tiring. You're standing up. It's mentally tiring. It's physically not as much fun, and that doesn't work for me for a Fallout game like this. Something that I'm going to spend 8 to 10 hours at a time playing.
I feel like they need to find a middle ground because, I mean, what we saw next year was, teleporting around the gas station. And they did say it's not just going to be teleportation. That's not going to be the only method of moving around. You are going to be able to, well, they haven't said specifically, but there'll be other ways of moving around the landscape. But, yeah, at the same time, I agree. You couldn't have a full, RPG Fallout 4 experience. So I would really like to see them hit an agreeable middle ground, like maybe some kind of side quest where you still feel like you're adventuring. Maybe it's a shorter kind of time limit or just like little packaged units that you can play at a time and still wander around or have the choice. I think that could be cool.
Yeah. I do want to move on to a couple bigger things that we think Bethesda will announce.
Bigger.
What's bigger than Fallout?
As far as standalone games, we are talking about Wolfenstein 2. The new Colossus, which was a rumor for a while because of last year's E3. Bethesda started off their press conference by talking about, or there was that DOS intro, right? And it showed Doom, and then it showed something called the new Colossus.
It was all the Wolfenstein games with their release date,
right?
And then new Colossus XXX.
It's a pretty brazen way to just
give
everything away, and no one noticed at the time. But of course, like the more you mine it, the more you see that it might be Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. Then the other day. Yesterday, I think Amazon Germany, something pops up called Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
Yeah.
And if you know your poetry, you know that is the poem that's written on the base of the Statue of Liberty.
It's also the poem BJ Blazkowicz is reciting at the end of New Order.
Yeah, and Brian Bloom, the voice actor, who's also the protagonist in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and he's a writer on Infinite Warfare, he had tweeted saying like something about BJ Blazkowicz coming back. So we're pretty sure, based on all that information, that we'll see Wolfenstein 2 tonight. I absolutely loved A New Order. It was one of my favorite games of 2014. I don't know, Dave, you seem to know your Wolfenstein pretty well. Are you pretty excited for this?
I am incredibly excited for this. Like, Bethesda are doing such credit to the old school shooter, and the Wolfenstein games, the New Order, the Old World, fantastic. I am really excited to see where they're going next with this franchise. And I was nerding out with you before, talking some theories. Again, there's that the poem thing that's connected to the Statue of Liberty. So I think they're gonna
carry Liberty come alive and fight you.
Well, I think they're actually going to...
That's not far off from what he was talking about.
Sweet.
So they did the whole thing where they liberated Europe from Death's Head. So it makes sense that they're going to go to America now, and with the whole the new Colossus poem, it makes sense that they're going to go to New York, and it's not out of the realms of possibility. Maybe this is me just being a stupid fanboy, but I'm imagining they actually just turn the Statue of Liberty into a mech.
Sweet.
Who wouldn't play that?
I'd be all about
it. Do you get to pilot it at the end? Like, I just want to stand up in the Statue of Liberty's crown at the top.
I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. Like,
the torch.
Wolfenstein is insane. Like, it wouldn't, like, it's got the occult in it. Why not just a big copper lady boating people?
I think it's supposed to be pretty bombastic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
You
Bethesda
could dual wield
were
assault
talking
rifles.
about it.
Yeah.
Just throwing that book at people?
Yeah.
Oh my
sick.
gosh.
Yeah. Picks up machine guns, starts just gunning.
Well, because that's what is so great about Wolfenstein, right? And then Bethesda were talking about, machine games, their next project, back before they announced this.
Yep.
And I won't do any swears. But Pete Hines was like, what they're working on right now is like effing bananas.
Yeah.
So.
What if they bridge the gap between Wolfenstein and Doom, and the new Colossus is the thing that brings these universes together?
I mean, that is effing bananas, so...
But I'm not sure if it'll...
Peak bananas.
Will it be BJ, though? Because at the end of the game, it's implied that BJ dies, albeit off-screen. You hear the helicopter come in, or you hear the sound effect of a helicopter after the credits.
Right.
He comes back from hell. That's from Doom.
But if it's not BJ, I'm hoping that it's... In my mind's eye, I've got this image of BJ's kid, because he hooked up with the Polish resistance lady, Anya, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm imagining BJ's kid is his super badass daughter. It's set in the 80s. She's got a biker jacket on, a big hair with a bandana, and she's just going through New York, kicking Nazi ass.
I'll play that. Yeah.
2 assault rifles and a pompadour. It's all you need.
Hell yeah. That's the tagline.
Yeah. So you think like it'll just continue the story, because the first one was what, 1968?
It was 60s, yeah. But I don't think they would have chosen like Wolfenstein 2 if it was like going to be a prequel or something.
Right.
It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
that's true.
So I think either BJ's alive and he was rescued, or it's his kid.
So would it still be like World War II era Nazi weaponry, or would it be like even more developed? Obviously, like it's not historical. There weren't giant wolf mechs.
Well, I think it'd be really interesting to see.
Not that I know of.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the previous Wolfenstein, it was set in Europe. That was where Death's Head's compound was, because they evaded from America.
Yeah.
I think it'd be quite interesting to see that the resistance is now occupying Europe, the American resistance occupying Europe, and they are retaking America actual.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've spent time rebuilding Europe and consolidating that, and now it's back overseas to actual America. Obviously, New York's East Coast, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe I'm going like way too far with this.
I'm with you.
No, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what what they actually choose to do with it. Did you play the New Order? Mm-hmm. Did you guys play the Old Blood, the expansion, which was really good?
Really good.
It's more supernatural focused.
It was more like the occult German stuff that they liked to play with.
Super weird, but like obviously the New Order was cool because you can kind of choose to go stealthy if you wanted to. Although, I mean, I love stealth games, and that's usually the path I choose. But when you could dual wield shotguns within the first 10 minutes of a game, I'm not going to want to be quiet.
Well, that's the great thing in stealth games. When you bugger up the stealth, I'll reload. But in this, you go stealth for a bit and be like, all right, then, doesn't matter. I got 2 shotguns.
Yeah. I'll throw a knife at this dude, and then I'll pull out my double assault rifle.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, the Old Blood is well worth playing as well if you haven't, like, and I can't remember, was that, like, part of the main story of the first game, or was it, like, this complete offshoot?
I didn't.
Wasn't it explaining wasn't that, like, the actual
The Old Blood?
dig? Yeah.
The Old Blood was set before the New Order.
Which, it was, like, the dig where they dug up the stuff that caused all the supernatural.
Yeah, I think the Scottish guy you meet with and you start the game with was in the Old Blood.
Okay.
So they were definitely connected, but then the New Order didn't really touch on the occult stuff, so it kind of felt standalone in that.
So it stands to reason that we will definitely see the new Colossus tonight, if that leak is true, and not even leak, if that sales page on Amazon Germany is true. And rumors from the last few months and whatnot. Another one that seems semi-likely is The Evil Within 2 from Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami of Resident Evil creation fame. The Evil Within, the first one, released as well in 2014 under Bethesda. And I liked it a lot. There's 15 chapters in it, and I loved the first 10. Could not stand the last third of the game. So it showed a lot of potential. And I think it was at its best when like Mikami and his team were doing the things that they became known for. Like in Resident Evil 4, when you have this open sandbox village, and kind of you're just trying to survive. Jess, did you get the chance to play The Evil Within, the first one?
Yeah, I played the first few hours of it. I'm great with horror games, as anyone who knows me would know.
Yeah, you used to be House of Horrors. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the tense moments. I like the atmosphere. I think the story sort of went in waves with this one. They're obviously playing with psychological elements. I'm not sure all of them hit the mark.
No.
But what I'm really interested in is this was like on the whole. You know, fairly critically agreed to be a solid game, even like for its flaws. So I do hope they're making a sequel because I'd love to see what they can take as lessons from the game they already made. And, you know, because they had a lot of great elements, including the atmosphere. It's absolutely shit scary. So, you know, if they can pull together the things that perhaps they fell short on, like the story, it'd be a really interesting game to play.
Yeah, I can't, like, even just watching this gameplay, I can't stand the main character.
Yes.
I think it's Sebastian Castellanos, although I think I said that the other day and I was wrong.
I think you're right.
No, I said it was Sebastian, but I said Salvatore.
Yeah.
He's very different. But, yeah, just to reiterate, the reason that we think this might show up is there was a Psycho Break 2 job post recently, and Psycho Break is what this franchise is called in Japan. And also, like, when they've been talking a lot, Bethesda and Tango Gameworks and Mikami himself are saying they want it to be a franchise. They didn't just want it to be a one-off thing from the beginning. And I'm curious where they would go after the first one, because the first one took a toll on the main character, and I wonder if they'll keep going with him. I imagine they would, although knowing Mikami and his crazy casts from Resident Evil and how many different protagonists they are.
Around,
Yeah, I wonder if they would go with someone else and start by, like
sense.
franchise building wise. I wonder if they'd take a completely new character in this universe and kind of tie it in lightly, and then maybe the next one comes along and they're together, or it's a completely new person, and then you get to The Evil Within 6 and it's just everybody. There's 3 campaigns and there's 6 characters. Bad. I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of Resident Evil 6. But Justin, are you excited for Evil Within 2 if they do announce it tonight?
I mean, especially after Resident Evil 7. Like, I thought I was done with Resident Evil, and having that game come back in such a big way, like, it was exciting, like how frightening, how scary and atmospheric it was.
Yeah.
And so coming back, when I first saw that rumor, I was like, well, The Evil Within 1 wasn't that great, and do I really want to go back to the second one? And after playing, Resident Evil actually makes me more excited about it, because like, there's the possibility. They can do it better, you put the resources behind it, and especially seeing how Resident Evil reinvented itself, Evil Within 2 could totally do that.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, this would be something that would show up during Sony if it happened, but a lot of people after, or even before Resident Evil 7 release, have been waiting for Resident Evil 2 Remake. And we were talking the other day, it stands to reason that now would be the best time of any for Capcom to release that, just riding the wave of Resident Evil 7. Of course, they're going to talk more about the Not a Hero DLC with, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but one of the returning iconic characters of the earlier games. And I feel like now would be the best, like, you know, strike while the iron's hot with Resident Evil 2 Remake. But like you said, it seems like survival horror has been kind of undergoing this AAA renaissance lately, thanks to like, maybe it was like Silent Hills came along, and then the cancellation of that game under Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. People are like, maybe there is a market for these kind of things, even though traditional survival horror kind of faded for about like a decade or something, aside from The Evil Within, which is one of the ones that kept it alive. So I'm pretty excited if we do see The Evil Within 2. I would like to. And then I do want to kind of like talk about Collective Hopes, which might not be as logical or reasonable. Dave,
when has a Bethesda conference been logical, though?
Yeah. Do you think we'll see anything like Fallout Shelter that they're going to come on stage and be like, oh, by the way, you can play this right now? Like
it's
anything?
Been 2 years. I feel like this is the time when you're going to release some other new mobile game. I don't think it's going to be like Fallout Shelter, because that was surprising in how kind of fresh and different it was. Like, you remember E3, and like everybody was playing that game. You're just walking around. You're like, well, this quirky little mobile game. And I would love for them to do that again, to take like some kind of cool idea and make it into a mobile game that all of us are going to be playing on the show floor.
Well, do you think they'll just be like Elder Scrolls Legends is available right now?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
They'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Bethesda love to do that.
And I'm just wondering, like, have they like clarified why they did such a late conference this year? Because it doesn't like work well for people in the UK. That's like what, 6 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah, 5, 6 a.m.
East Coast America, it's midnight. But I'm wondering, yeah, if they're saying like as of midnight, this thing's dropping. Get your phone out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
But so like that's what you're hoping for, something like that kind of thing. To
I
play?
think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls like I do want to play Elder Scrolls Legends on my phone, but I feel like maybe that's not the thing that's going to happen. Like I want something surprising. I love the surprises of E3, and that's what I want.
Yeah. Dave, what about you?
I mean,
get weird if you want.
My pipe dream is that that Obsidian Fallout.
Yeah.
Like New Vegas is my baby. It's my favorite Fallout. I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game, and Obsidian just did an incredible job with it. The setting, the atmosphere, the gameplay. It just took. It seems like it's gone cyclical. I remember when Fallout 3 came out, there was tons of criticisms for that game, but it was widely received. Then Obsidian came out with Fallout New Vegas, and it kind of fixed a lot of what was wrong with Fallout 3 and added like a lot of humor and character and ambiance and atmosphere to it. Fallout 4 kind of feels like it was the same. So if Obsidian bring out their version, like I know we were talking that it could possibly be New Orleans.
Yeah, there's
that
something...
would be end of show for me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so it's weird. It all started with a fake, it was proven to be fake post that Obsidian was working on Fallout New Vegas 2, and then but the original rumors came from the fact that they had mentioned Project Louisiana a few times, and then there was something in Fallout 4 that made reference to New Orleans a few times, and then yeah, New Vegas was 2 years after 3. Now is 2 years after 4. It might be the time, although they are working on the crowdfunded
Tyranny?
Pillars of Eternity 2.
Pillars of Eternity, sorry.
The first one was, did any of you play Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good game?
They're great storytellers.
check it out.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the reason to be excited for it, I reckon.
So, like they're working on the sequel, but I wonder if they do have people that have been working
I
hard.
hope so. Every fiber of my being hopes so.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, especially like New Orleans. I mean, Mafia 3 went there. We've had like, even like Point Lookout, the DLC for Fallout 3 was kind of a swampy, marshy area, and that was really cool. I'd be curious to see how you do a post-apocalyptic New Orleans.
Mutant alligators.
Yeah.
Irradiated gumbo.
And like fan boats.
Fan boats, yeah.
Awesome.
The big paddle ones as a stronghold.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone not telling you to go to this outpost every 5 minutes.
That would be great.
Yep.
No 3 Dog?
3
Fallout
Dog?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Jess, what about you? Do you have anything that you're hoping to see that we probably won't?
I just want Elder Scrolls every damn year. I know it won't come. I know it'll probably be another 2 years. And also, I don't think the first time we see it is going to be at E3. Call me a skeptic about leaky E3, but I just feel like we're going to get, a LinkedIn listing, like a job is going to be here, or we're going to get like a weird screen. Like, I feel like we're going to know it's coming before it arrives. I wish we wouldn't. I would just love for us to have an E3 Bethesda presser that's just like, and now Elder Scrolls 6 in this amazing place and this like new scenery. But, I remember counting down the days for Skyrim to come out. My childhood's built around that, franchise. I absolutely love it. So I know it won't happen, but that would be my dream.
Have you played much of the remastered Skyrim?
No, I haven't because I played it on PC.
Right.
So I
don't need to after that, do you?
Wasn't like too big of a thing for me because of mods. But yeah, I mean, I just love those worlds. I love those stories. I know a lot of people are burnt out on medieval. I just never get sick of it. I love it.
Yeah, like I always love the juxtaposition between Fallout, the post-apocalypse, and then the high fantasy of Elder Scrolls, and I always love kind of bouncing back and forth. But yeah, I would say it's either the Obsidian Fallout, if that were to happen, or
they might just vaguely tease something at the end.
Yeah.
Like we were talking, like maybe it was in Elsewhere, because that would be such a contrast of the snow of Skyrim to the deserts of Elsewhere.
Where the cat people, the
cat
Khajiit
people,
are from.
People on the internet love cats. That'd be a perfect game right now.
I was always an Argonian person.
Yeah, lusty maid type.
From Black Marsh.
Black Marsh,
yeah. That'd be pretty cool. And then we were also wondering whether to backtrack a little bit to VR and Doom. You said they've been rumored to be a Doom VR, which maybe we'll see that too.
I mean, we were talking before how Doom gave a lot of people motion sickness, and there were settings you could fiddle with that to like reduce that. Yeah. A game that already gives you motion sickness in VR, that should become packaged with a bath bag.
Yeah.
Well, we will find out soon enough. Maybe there will be a Doom VR. We are going live to the Bethesda press conference in about 5 seconds, but stay tuned. We will be coming back to discuss what we see after here on the GameSpot E3 stage. Enjoy.
There we go. Great. What does your daddy do? What does he do for a job?
Plays on his computer. I don't know.
I don't know, actually. He does effects like sparkles, cutscenes.
Sits at a computer and does stuff?
I'm a senior programmer. I'm a UI programmer. I'm a senior designer.
My mom's an artist. She works pretty hard. I am a quest designer.
I'm a senior character artist.
Yeah, it definitely is a very familial environment.
My dad makes video games.
My mom makes video games.
I always wanted to make games.
I dreamt of this kind of job when I was a kid.
I grew up loving games.
When he was little, this was actually his dream job.
It never occurred to me that it could be a job. Sometimes I still feel like that kid.
Wait, I'm an adult?
Sometimes I have to pinch myself that it's real. I love what I do.
I mean, it's video games for a living. That's gotta be really cool.
Of course. My dad's games make people feel happy.
Scared, excited, badass, all kinds of feelings.
I'm actually working on an RPG.
I'm working on a shooter. It's a really cool mobile game. Esports. First person, third person, fantasy, dystopian.
A horror game.
It'll scare the shit out of you. Hang on.
Finally showing everyone our game is really exciting.
Awesome. Scary.
Overwhelming.
Mind-blowing.
I'm really proud of my dad.
My mom works hard.
And now they're ready.
They made their game, and this is it. It's go time.
Time to show everyone what we've been working on.
Except me. I can't play till I'm older.
Awesome. Let's get it started.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
So, let's just say it.
Start the show.
Start the show! Showtime!
Showtime. I don't know what showtime is.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Bethesda E3 Showcase.
Welcome everyone to Bethesda Land 2017. Yes, Bethesda Land. A place of adventure, innovation, wonderment, but above all else, fun. To get things started, please welcome Bethesda's Global Vice President of PR and Marketing, Pete Hines.
Thank you very much. I can't even imagine the size of the bar tab that I paid for that applause, but I thank you for that. Good evening and welcome to the 2017 Bethesda E3 Showcase. And welcome to Bethesda Land. We will offer you an experience at E3 unlike anything else, and a chance to celebrate some of the world's best video games. Tonight we'll be taking you on a virtual tour through our playground where there's something for everyone, whether it's phone or tablet, PC, or your favorite Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo console, or like many of us, all of the above. But before we turn to the latest from Bethesda, let's take a minute to look at some of the most recent games that you've been playing and many of you are still enjoying, like the endless hours of fun that millions of fans have had playing Doom. Ripping, tearing, and otherwise eviscerating demons from hell. Did you play a badass supernatural assassin in Dishonored 2, or fight to survive aboard an alien-infested space station in Prey? Maybe you're one of the 100 million people around the world who have enjoyed building and overseeing your own vault in Fallout Shelter. And I know that many of you are still playing Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition. Probably because for the first time in our industry, both games offer user mods for console players with more than 300 million mod downloads since we launched them last year. As each of these extraordinary games show, Bethesda works hard for you, giving players the very best entertainment experience regardless of your taste, platform, or playstyle. So, what's next? Let's start by talking about virtual reality, something that we've been at the forefront of for a while now. We've had teams hard at work on VR titles to provide the kind of experiences you've been asking for and the kind of experience you won't find anywhere else. So let's start our tour of Bethesda Land with 2 VR games coming out this year. You ready? Let's take a look.
Welcome to the UAC.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Mr. Sandman, someone to hold. To be so peachy before we do. So please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring us. Please, Mr. Sandman, bring us a dream.
Finally, a full-length open-world game with near-limitless content playable entirely in VR. Sure will be exciting to play Fallout 4 in VR. Plus Doom VFR. It's so hot right now. Expansive open worlds and endless player choice are 2 of the cornerstones on which Bethesda was built. The Elder Scrolls Online, first released in 2014, and has built a massive community. Since launch, more than 10 million players have had countless adventures in Tamriel. Now you can return to a thrilling fan-favorite location, Morrowind.
What's up, guys? It's Al.
It's James.
And it's JV.
It's gonna be exciting.
I'm pretty excited right now.
Here we go. Oh my god, look at the mushrooms. What the heck? My heart's rate racing right now. They shot the bear.
Who's shooting arrows into that bear? Better not have killed the bear.
I can't wait.
Everybody has said this is what we've been wanting.
Elder Scrolls Online made me feel like I was 14 again.
I gotta watch the bear again real quick. Get us on the bear.
Speaking of Morrowind, did you know that Bethesda's first PC user mods in 2002 were for the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind? 15 years later, Bethesda continues to support the mod community. Last year, Bethesda user mods were made available to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 players. And since then, there have been more than 300 million mod downloads for Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition. And we're just getting started. In 2017, Bethesda is going to shake things up again.
Bethesda Game Studios is known for creating open living worlds with seemingly limitless gameplay content. But what if there was another way to experience even more, something all new? Introducing Creation Club, a collection of new game content for Skyrim and Fallout 4, including new weapons, new armor, new outfits and accessories, new crafting and housing features, even new gameplay enhancements. Using Creation Club is easy. Browse the selection in-game by category and use credits to download right there. Your new content will appear automatically. Creation Club content is made by Bethesda Game Studios and outside developers, including the very best community creators. These outside creators work hand in hand with Bethesda Game Studios, which means all content will be fully compatible with your save games, achievements, and official add-ons. Creation Club is coming this summer to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Creation Club. The worlds of Fallout 4 and Skyrim just got a little bit bigger.
The Elder Scrolls Legends is another way to explore this amazing universe, taking you beyond the role-playing experience and offering a unique strategy card game. But we haven't shown all our cards yet. Let's see what's next for Legends.
Stories can do surprising things, whether they are true or not. And this is one you should hear.
Bring me a warrior, strength and courage.
You now.
Even those lost amongst the mountains can find their way within the stars. The path is written for you to find. The path to warriors destined for Sovngarde. To beasts cursed by an unquenchable hunger. To scholars of ancient and ferocious magic. And to dark terrors from above. They all await in Skyrim. You must simply find the path.
The Elder Scrolls has given tens of millions of fans, just like you, the chance to live another life in another world. Now, for the first time, Skyrim, one of our most beloved games, is coming to a Nintendo platform. Now that's a switch. Bethesda has always believed in immersive worlds in which players can tell their own stories, be who they want to be, and do what they want to do. This September, get ready for another adventure in the Dishonored universe, a story of revenge and the ultimate assassination.
Good to see you, old man.
You up for one last job, Billy?
Who's the mark?
The black-eyed bastard responsible for all the chaos.
We're gonna kill the outsider.
In 1996, id Software offered gamers a new, exciting way to play and compete. That year marked the true birth of esports, and it began with a LAN party in Dallas, Texas. Fans came together to play a fast-paced, revolutionary new shooter called Quake. it offered them a new way to compete, and the best of the best were finally recognized as professional gamers. This year, Quake Champions takes esports to the next level.
We weren't born champions. We're made. Made better. Made faster. Made deadlier. With every single match. We don't just play. We compete. We achieve. We rise. We won't stop until we're the best. Until we are Quake champions.
Coming at you! I am unstoppable.
Juice it up, baby!
Did you see that? What's the matter? Lose something? You'll regret that.
Shields on. Give 'em hell.
Try to keep up.
Who's next?
You done messed up now.
I'm coming for you, goddamn weirdos. None of you gets out alive.
It all comes down to this. Every match, every frag, every victory. More than 20 years in the making, the original esport returns. Announcing the Quake World Championships, August 26th at QuakeCon in Dallas, Texas. Competitors will face off in the ultimate esports arena to win their share of $1 million. And the one thing every champion seeks. Legacy. Play the beta now and get ready for the Quake World Championships. Visit Quake.com to learn more.
You might notice some parts of Bethesda Land have been under construction, but now the work is nearly finished. Let's take a peek.
Sebastian. For 3 years since Beacon happened, you've been searching for answers. You didn't find what you were looking for because they didn't want you to. Mobius knows you've been following us. And they've been watching you for a long time. You trained and trusted me. And in return, I betrayed you. Long before we met, you lost your daughter, Lily. She's still alive. This is your chance to save her. To get back what you lost. Lily needs you. You're gonna need to go back into STEM. Again.
There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I
Wow. On Friday, October 13th, The Evil Within 2 will surely be giving us all nightmares. We hope you've enjoyed your time in Bethesda Land. And as we near the end of our tour, we leave you with one more coming attraction.
Here you go, Peggy. There's everything your mother ordered and a ration card. And here's a lakritz schnecker just for you.
Wow. Gee, thanks, Mr. Wilson.
Hey, Peggy.
Hi, Bill.
Get it off. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna get you out. Get it off. Hang on, I'm gonna get you out of there. Hang on, buddy. Just hang on.
Lizzo, help!
Look out!
Good girl, Lizzo. Bravo, Hoon. Lizzo, no! No! Stop it, Lizzo! No, that's enough, Lizzo! Lizzo! Bad girl.
Good nutrition is a matter of state security.
Wunderbar soldier who ever lived. Power of thunder.
Welcome back to round 3. Now is where it gets really exciting on America's #1 game show. Okay, hands on your buzzers. Here we go.
The Honorable, you must exercise self-control.
Just illegal.
Darker shame, darling, darker shame. Thank you for all the joy and pain. Picture show, second balcony. rice with meat, second seat, go Dutch treat, you were sweet.
The old and the weak are doomed.
William, I prayed for you to wake up.
You've gotten so fat.
Zed says we're having twins.
Frau Engel, she's been hunting for you. She's been moving heaven and earth, and today she found you.
You think you're a hero, William Joseph Blascotch?
Monsters did this.
Not monsters. Men.
Have you taken your German lessons?
Hello?
Come on, Peter, let's go someplace else. Mom, we no haven't- buts.
Oh! Bitteschön.
Danke.
You, one strawberry milkshake, please. Oh, I hope you don't have a fire back there to put out. If so, I'll come back another time.
I'm sure the fire can wait, Commandant. One strawberry milkshake coming right up.
Fireman, I recognize your face. Very Aryan face it is, too. Are you out of Station 1?
There you go, Commandant.
Oh, vielen Dank. Now you. Show me your identification papers, please.
We gotta put the fighting spirit back in the American people.
You shoot good bucks! Smile!
Just who the fuck are you, white boy?
Stay calm. Let me first make it absolutely clear that I am not a Nazi.
What you say? You say you're a Nazi?
Oh, fuck this.
Motherfucker!
Let me say this again. I ain't no goddamn Nazi.
Hey! Now you bring Super Special back in and you put him down right now, or I will shove this grenade so far up your ass.
Lady, I got precious little time for your bullshit. We've been trying to make contact with your group. We're organizing for a revolution in America.
We? Shit!
Take cover!
Relax, man. It's just a duck. Oh, bitch got a sick sense of humor. For the longest time, I've been hearing through the grapevine about this resistance. Leader named Horton.
You know, my ma always said, never trust a man can't handle his whiskey. So you sit right down, say Terror-Billy, and drink up.
Oh, goddamn.
Now listen, Terror-Billy, I respect your ambition, but there's nothing can be done no more. The world has sank into the crapper, and all we can do now is drink this whiskey and watch the vortex suck it all down.
Didn't expect your belly to be quite so yellow.
We stood up against the imperialist war machine of the United States of America and the greedy money men of Wall Street who was itching to send the children of the proletariat off to die in foreign lands so that they could be filling their coffers. It weren't their sons bleeding on the beaches.
I got kids on the way. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna raise them in a world run by these Nazi assholes.
You take freedom away from the American people, you're playing with fire. And I intend to pour some gasoline.
I said a couple of months ago that the thing that Machine Games was working on is fucking bananas, so now you know what I mean by fucking bananas. A lady pregnant with twins stabbing a Nazi while a guy's dropping acid is fucking bananas. We can't wait to show you guys more of Wolfenstein 2 and how it combines a compelling shooter with great story, unforgettable characters, and killer graphics with over-the-top action. So if it's in America, hands-on for our VR titles, so you can play both Fallout and Doom VR. You can play and start, or you can try the new Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. Plus, we have hands-on for the new Heroes of Skyrim for Legends, plus a cool interactive experience for The Evil Within 2, exclusive developer interviews, presentations, and a lot more. So we hope you're as excited for what we have coming in 2017 as we are. Again, a reminder, everything that you saw tonight will be out this year. Be it mobile or PC, console or shooter, horror, RPG, or strategy game. We believe Bethesda will remain the place to go for the very best in video games. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's showcase. It's your passion and excitement that drives our something great, something exciting, something fun.
Hey everyone, welcome back to GameSpot's E3 stage. We just went to Bethesda's press conference. Thank you for joining us. We're going to discuss what we just saw, what we missed, but all in all, Justin Haywald.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was excited. There were screams. I felt like I ran the full gamut of emotions during that presentation.
In Wolfenstein alone.
I was crying. I was a little bit aroused at times.
Guys,
just
Dave Jewett, you're here too.
I am.
Jess McDonald.
Yeah.
And if you're here during our pre-show, you know, I'm Mike Mahardy, your host, and let's just run through them, what we saw, what Pete Hines and Bethesda showed us. Doom VR, Dave, as you said, you'd kind of heard circulating, rumors making the rounds. What do you think of that?
I mean, again, it looks fun. It looks like Doom. It's not the more Doom that I wanted. I was still afraid that it's going to make people motion sick. It's got that whole teleporting thing, so you know that's where they're going.
Yeah, it's weird. I was talking when we were watching it. Like Doom, so much of Doom from last year was moving forward, right? The team designed it at id to always be facilitating momentum, and you're moving forward and never backing up. Doom VR seems kind of
VFR.
VFR.
What does the F stand for?
I don't know.
Fun.
Fudging.
Assuming virtual fucking reality. Just be like the BFG.
Oh, that's definitely
Oh,
good job.
Oh,
Good
I
job,
get
Mike.
it.
Just trying to get me to curse, but no, it just seems like kind of contrary to what Doom was. But I don't know, like we played Farpoint now, which was like the last big shooter in VR, I guess.
Feels like it might be like it's obviously a standalone thing, but
yeah,
it looks more like it's an experience with pieces that allow you to shoot.
Yeah,
you saw like fiddling with equipment and armor and all that sort
right.
of stuff.
Yeah, but in terms of more VR from Bethesda, they also, like we predicted, showed Fallout 4 VR.
A whole game though.
Yeah, which you know, it's not gonna be like the standalone, or it's gonna be the standalone thing, but it's gonna be the entire Fallout 4 open world in Boston post-apocalypse in VR, which seems
that's a monstrous game. I mean, even like Resi, you can play the whole campaign through in VR, and that's what 13 hours. I mean, we're talking a 100-hour game here. I mean, you can not possibly play something in VR. That said, what an awesome world to be in VR. Like, just to be there, walking around, looking around. Oh, yeah.
Is that an awesome world? I don't know.
Dude.
I feel like I'd want to be in a nicer world.
Well,
okay, well,
go play Lucky's Tale. No, yeah, I mean, it just seems weird. Like, I wonder how much, like, it looks like they're, you know, like they're designing the whole UI, the controls, they're revamping everything to be suitable for VR.
Go.
Yeah, that game is something like Fallout games and Elder Scrolls games you pour hours and hours into, and I imagine in VR, for it to, like, be comfortable for you to stay there, they must have had to take a while designing this. But, I mean, you can kind of tell, like, it looks a little bit, you know, parsed down from what we've seen on PS4 Pros and whatnot, but it looks pretty good for VR.
I'm glad it exists. I think, like, we needed something like this. I would love to see how the general public responds to an entire massive single-player RPG in VR. I mean, just to see if it works.
Everyone
see if
always
that's something
says.
people want. Like, if that's something devs are going to work on, then they're going to want to see that it actually pans out and that people don't get sick and they, you know, can keep getting into virtual reality for long periods of time. And they go.
Devs keep saying they want to make that.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
I'm actually more excited for that than I thought I would be. Mainly because I only ever put maybe like 12 hours into Fallout 4. I played Fallout 3 a ton, New Vegas. 3 is one of my favorite games, but now, like I've always been needing an excuse to go back to 4 amidst like all these other games that have released this year. But now that it's in VR, maybe that'll be my the impetus for me to join it again. But I'm pretty excited for that. I'm curious to see how the controls will be adapted. Like they keep showing like the Vive, the handset, and then the Oculus controller or whatever. But I wonder if you could just play. It doesn't look like they're going to do the Resident Evil 7 thing, the PSVR thing, where you could just play with a controller. I wonder if they're implementing that at all.
But I would be surprised if they don't have a whole bunch of different options for how to play. I mean, it did seem that the focus was on Vive and not PSVR, but I'd be surprised if it doesn't come to both. And there's a whole bunch of options. I doubt they'd also drop the teleportation option for people who get motion sick as well.
Right.
Because otherwise they're losing a whole chunk of their audience who just cannot like walk around without getting sick.
That's a big price of entry for a game that's been out for a while, though, right? Like having a Vive and everything.
That's big.
Definitely. It seems like a lot of VR experiences right now are bonuses for people who already own them, but it's also like with PSVR games, that makes sense because it's a little cheaper. It's the most accessible one to have like with your PlayStation. But it seems like now that like Fallout 4 is aiming for that core audience, I guess. It seems like maybe it'll attract a few more people. But that was all the VR stuff they showed us. 2 games that I would not initially think would be good for VR, but it seems like they're tackling it. But Bethesda Creation Club was kind of the like an anomaly in the Skyrim It reminds me of kind of this what you can do with the Sims with the microtransactions.
That's exactly what I thought.
Buying like new furniture and stuff. But in this, it's Skyrim and Fallout 4. Bethesda devs and outside teams, they said, have made like these new accessories or outfits. And you get like currency for that. Jess, does this seem appealing to you and like the way it's kind of set up?
Basically buying mods. I mean, because The Sims has had this set up for a while. For those who play that, Sims 4, Sims 3, you can download mods like that people have created, or you can buy the ones that the company have created. I think a lot of other people would happily take the free ones. I wonder how this is going to go down. People don't love being nickel and dined for little bits and pieces, and Bethesda have an interesting history with that, with the horse armor. But it doesn't particularly appeal to me. I wonder if there is like certain ways to earn coins, or if it's just you buy a pack of them.
I'm wondering if like microtransactions are going to come into play heavily with those.
They didn't explain it super well, so it'll be interesting to see how that unravels. But if that is what it is and it's microtransactions, that's why they didn't explain it super well.
Well, how else would you earn credits by accomplishing things in Skyrim or Fallout 4?
I'm curious if they'll go down the route that Uplay does, where you earn Uplay points by getting certain achievements.
And then you can buy. Spend those.
I have to imagine,
But I mean, Uplay does that over tons of games, where this is like 2 games.
I mean, they have their own launcher now, but it's not the same as having a platform.
And again, mods exist, guys.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at
I guarantee people are going to just see what is on sale, and then they're just going to make like a copyright-friendly version of it and put it on Steam Workshop.
Well, I saw survival mode in there, and survival mode already exists for Skyrim and Fallout 4. It was DLC for Fallout 4, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Do you think you'll use that too much?
Probably not. Like, I love official mods, and I tend to gravitate towards those, but unless it's free, I don't tend to go into it. If the Uplay model could potentially work. I've definitely downloaded stuff on Uplay because, well, I've earned these credits. Sure, I'll try out some. But otherwise, if it is a microtransaction model, that's not going to make a lot of people happy.
And again, it's for games that have been out for a long time. What's the draw?
I mean, like, while we're still on Elder Scrolls, something we had predicted, maybe not. We thought maybe they'll do Elder Scrolls Legends. Oh, it's on phones tonight, but no, on June 29th, next month, or late this month, it's going to be coming to iPhone and Androids. Or at least I think they said that's because Heroes of Skyrim is the new like addition, right? Is that just new cards with Skyrim characters? I'm surprised they're not already in it. I don't know.
So it sounds like they're expanding because they kind of treated each section as a kind of its own expansion. Hearthstone does something similar where you have each pack is kind of themed around an idea. It sounds like the next content pack, because currently they're in the Dark Brotherhood, the next one's going to go into Skyrim, which makes sense.
Gotcha. And when you say like they're in the Dark Brotherhood, is that the cards themselves or the quests that you mentioned, Jess?
It would be both.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the problems I found with Legends is the cards are a little samey, no matter which of the classes you choose.
Okay.
So if they're making efforts to kind of change that up and diversify the classes a bit more and the cards you get with each of them, then that's interesting to me and might be interesting to people who are playing more than I am.
Okay. And then while we're still talking about Skyrim, we talked about it coming to Switch, right? This has been, they first showed off the Nintendo Switch with that Direct, and they showed Skyrim, clearly. But then people asked Bethesda, and I think it was Pete Hines specifically, he was like, it's not confirmed, and that's all he said. But of course now they confirmed it. Now we know for sure. But
it's better than anything I could have imagined.
Wait a minute. All right. So here's my chief gripe. You have a high fantasy open world sandbox game, and you play "Take a Walk" by Passion Pit. I love that song.
That was the loudest sound I heard.
It supports Amiibo though.
Yeah, it supports Amiibo. Look at this weird monstrosity of a Link hulking around Skyrim.
And that's the thing. I've done this. I've had the Master Sword in Skyrim.
Yeah.
It was a mod.
Well, that's
I didn't have to buy a $15 Amiibo for it.
Well, if you're used to mods, then I think you'll be used to what they're offering here. I wonder if other Amiibo are going to be compatible. You'd assume they would be.
Yeah.
Because they like to do those kinds of things. What do you guys think of the motion controls?
I was, okay, so when he's doing this, like, that looks dope. But then I don't want to be doing that when I'm just like, I love the Switch because it's portable. I don't want to be on a plane and like.
And are you going to be doing that if it's docked?
I'm embarrassed enough to play Zelda on a plane. I don't want to be pretending I'm using a bow.
You've got it on the plane and you're just like cramped in the seat and.
Apologizing to the person next to you. I'm sorry. I'm
sorry. I just got a dragon.
Dude, if I was sitting next to someone on a bus and they were doing that, I would be pissed.
I'd be mad respect for them.
You'll be able to play it normally. It's not like
I absolutely. I love the idea of Skyrim being portable, right? That's why I love Breath of the Wild. Like taking flights now, like 8-hour flights is nothing because I have a Switch now with Zelda, and now I can play Zelda in Skyrim with this weird-looking Link.
I love the idea of putting on my Pikachu amiibo and getting like a Pikachu Kigurumi that my character will run around.
That'd be an electric spell or something, surely, right?
Oh yeah, probably. Or you look like Pikachu.
Yeah, I hope they don't get weird with amiibo support. Or at the same time, you might as well now.
It's Nintendo. I think it's gonna get weird.
But yeah, now we know that's on Switch. And I'm actually, I said I wouldn't play the remastered edition when it came out last year, and I played like 50 hours. I say I'm not gonna play this, but again,
I will play this.
I probably will.
I didn't play the remastered edition because again, like Jess was saying, if you played mainly on PC, there was really no point. But now again, like traveling a lot.
Yeah,
it works. It fits that.
It makes sense. Like it's kind of a game that you can take like a few weeks off from and then go back in and it doesn't matter. You're not gonna forget what you were doing because it doesn't matter. Yeah. Dishonored 2 DLC, which we forgot to talk about in the pre-show because it makes sense, right? Parade just released from Arcane Studios.
We talked about it on the lobby.
Right. Yeah. Last week on our live show we talked about it, but it shows. And Harvey, we talked to Harvey Smith, who was creative director on Dishonored 2 a few times, and he was saying people are always asking about Megan Foster, what's her deal, because you hear these little tidbits from her during Dishonored 2. She's kind of one of your quest givers, the NPCs that always drives the boat when you're going into Karnaca or Dunwall. And people are always saying she's like this badass character. She's kind of like, I don't know, it's a weird comparison that I've been making. She's kind of the Boba Fett of Dishonored. Like, you don't see her do too many cool things, but for some reason, this huge cult sprang up around her. And now, apparently, she really is a badass. It's her and Dowd. Or Dodd, sorry, I don't...
Dowd.
Dowd. And he, of course, you know, there's the schism between them. But now they're trying to kill the Outsider, which those who don't know, but those who played Dishonored will know, he's the one who gives Corvo and Emily their supernatural powers. During this, I brought up the idea to you, Dave. The way they're showing Dowd and Megan, I wonder if
That'll
the same. You can choose between those.
It definitely looks that way.
Right? Like, that was the cool thing about Dishonored 2 that expanded on from the first Dishonored. You could be Emily, whose powers were still really cool. She had Domino, which Corvo didn't. Far Reach was a little different than Blink. Their navigation was a little different, but, you know, it just increased the replayability of the games. I have to imagine they would do the same thing with Megan Foster and Dowd. I personally would like to play as Megan Foster. She's a badass. But
it looks like Megan's powers are going to be more, like, mechanical based. I'm wondering if the scientist, like, I can't remember his name, the scientist from Dishonored 1 who...
Sokolov?
Yeah. I wonder if that's who's created all of this stuff.
Sokolov?
Like, she's got her arm back, she's got her eye back. So I'm guessing the difference is going to be that she's going to have a lot of, like, mechanical style powers, and Dowd will have some of the old powers that he had from Dishonored 1. And then again, that Corvo had familiar powers from Dishonored 1. Dowd will have familiar powers from Dishonored 1. And then you play as... Megan, sorry.
Yeah.
You play as Megan if you want to try something different.
Right. So this would have to take place after Dishonored 2 then, right?
I believe so.
But
because in Dishonored 2 she doesn't have her arm.
Right.
And if you kill the Outsider, then
that's what I'm saying.
2 doesn't happen.
Dishonored 3 wouldn't happen. Like that's a kind of a ballsy move to do.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Kill the thing
Unless
that
they introduce a new Outsider or something.
Yeah.
It's like
there's multiple Outsiders.
There's always new baddies.
He does hint at this. He does hint at the idea in Dishonored 2 of there being others, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? At some point, maybe they'll just.
That's the impression I always got from the world, anyway.
But it seems like this is the exact time to do it, right? There was, what were the DLCs for the first game? Witches of Brigmore?
Knife of Dunmore came out like 6 months after. We're 7 months after launch now, so makes sense.
Yeah, wow.
And, you know, like Prey just released, so it seemed like a time for it to kind of fill the gaps between maybe, I'm sure they'll do Prey DLC maybe 6 months from now, while they're like maybe announcing a new Dishonored or something else they might tackle. But yeah, we will actually have Harvey Smith on our live show Wednesday to talk about that more, which I'm pretty excited about. But I'm really excited to go back into Dishonored 2 because, like most of Arcane's stuff, like the immersive sim games, they have a lot of replayability, whether you want to choose Corvo or Emily, and you know, presumably maybe you can do Megan and.
And they've been supporting Dishonored 2 a lot. They did that game mode where you could have a mix mash of powers between the two characters. So I wonder if they'll do something similar and be able to. Yeah. You could have 4 people's worth of powers and play exactly the way you want.
Yeah.
I like the idea that, like with the previous Dishonored, like with a lot of Bethesda games, that this isn't DLC that we knew about, that was going to come out right at a timed location. Like, it felt like it gives it time to breathe. We had time to create this and to make a really good separate experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you know, pre-order Dishonored 2, you'll have, what is it called? Death of the Outsider? End of the Outsider?
Death of the Outsider.
Death of the Outsider. It's coming out September 15th. Side note, everything Bethesda showed tonight is coming out this year.
That's so crazy.
Which, you know, like, it's weird because we're going to talk about Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2, both of which we expected because of leaks or job postings. You know, like, it was weird. Like, during it, I was waiting for a huge surprise, and we didn't get it, but I think, like, it was still a strong showing in terms of the games, and it's also, like, we're going to play all these within the next 6 months, which is pretty exciting, because, again, that's what they did with Fallout 4. They're like, oh, it's also coming out in, like, 4 months. Also, here's Fallout Shelter. It seems to be Bethesda's kind of, like, MO now. But I do want to talk about Quake Champions, because we knew we were going to see that, but we didn't really see anything new. Like you said, it was just esports. Like it was kind of showing their support for esports. The original esports is coming back. You're not champions. You're not champions. You're skilled warriors. No, I don't want it. I'd just rather would have seen something new. But I mean, I guess they kind of like got their message across with Quake Champions, what it is, right? And
I mean, the new thing is esports and BJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, Dave, did you see anything that made you more excited for the game, or are you still pretty much?
No, I'm not good enough at Quake to win $1 million.
Yeah.
So.
No, same.
It made me think I'm not good enough at Quake to play Quake Champions. So that's
yeah. Yeah. BJ Blazkowicz, of course, being kind of.
The dual wielding thing wasn't something I toyed much with in the. Thinking about it now, the dual wielding thing is BJ Blazkowicz's unique ability.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, but like the game's in beta now. You can go play it if you want. Is it closed beta or open beta? You can
closed
just sign
beta.
up right
You can go to the, they're just dishing out keys anyway though, so you can go to the website and get a key.
So you can go play Quake Champions if you want to. Before we get into Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, as we had talked about, is probably called the Evil Within 2. Again, that job posting for Psycho Break 2 came up in like recent weeks or months. It was a while ago, but of course, like Tango Gameworks under Shinji Mikami and publisher Bethesda has been saying they wanted to make this a franchise. So my prediction was that maybe they'll ditch Sebastian Castellanos for a little bit and go after someone else just to create this cast, this crazy. But no, he's coming back and he's going for his daughter. Still clearly the psychological trauma conceit of the horror in this game. Jess, does this game kind of get you excited from what you saw tonight?
I mean, I love psychological horror. I think it's super interesting, and I just love what Japan does with their horror games. I think they're better at it than anybody else. I think it's still gorgeous. It's a great-looking game. I think it's going to be, like, super scary.
Yeah.
The little girl going up in flames in the forest, that happened.
Yeah.
It looks like a mannequin.
It's like a Monday for me.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to throw you for a loop. It looks like they're probably upping the ante even more on the psychological horror front.
What was the character that was in your like hub that gave you your upgrades? Or you talked to her? She was at the desk in between. I forget her name, but she made a return in these trailers. I think she's the one talking to you, actually.
Yeah.
She might be.
Milk though.
I don't know. This is like a Death Stranding thing.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Imagine like being in a bath full of milk.
That wouldn't be great.
Calcium strength.
You seem excited.
A little bit.
Oh yeah,
we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, no, this kind of gets brutal, but of course the first game kind of got taxing. But I'm really hoping that they figured out how to not end a game terribly, like they did with the first one. Because like I said, I love the first 10 chapters. It was Mikami doing some of his best work at moments, but there were so many things bringing the rest of it down. And the team at Tango clearly knows how to make a good survival horror game.
Yeah.
It's kind of undergone this renaissance recently. You know, like again after the cancellation of Silent Hills, but then Resident Evil 7 kind of revived it, and I think maybe we're riding a wave of this kind of stuff now. I'm hoping. And Evil Within 2 comes out Friday, October 13th.
What about a VR experience with this? What if they did a VR version?
It'd be interesting, right? Because you think VR would be better suited for first person, but then something like Edge of Nowhere comes out, or Chronos, both of which were third person and worked really well. Edge of Nowhere, you're kind of behind the character and shining the light with where you look. Chronos, you're actually just it was this third person action game, but
it'd be nice for them to do VR with something that hasn't been out for a damn long time.
Yeah,
launch
nice
with
to support
VR support.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, like, seems like they're making a big push for it. They started the whole show off with VR, but I guess it would kind of make sense to go into this. I mean, like Resident Evil 7 worked really well with VR, I think, and it wasn't like too taxing on me. I don't really get motion sick most of the time, but I've heard from people that do that Resident Evil 7 did it well. So I wonder if they did, they would choose to pursue it here. It seems like I don't know if that's something from Bethesda going down to like id and the internal studio doing Fallout 4. I wonder if they would talk to Tango at some point about doing that. Be interesting to see.
Maybe.
And another game that we expected, but one that got a lot of time at the end of the show, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, is a thing. BJ Blazkowicz coming back, and Dave, as you and a bunch of people predicted, it's in America, like Nazi-occupied America. Anya from New Order is pregnant with twins now, of course, but she's also stabbing the shit out of somebody, which is kind of cool. Yeah, but what did you think of this trailer, Dave, based on your time with New Order?
It gave me a lot of things to think about. So, like when BJ wakes up, it looks like he's lost the use of his legs, and then later you see him in it's the power suit. It's got a strange name. It's like an old Hebrew name, I think. It's the power suit that you find in the previous game. It looks like he's using that to walk, and then later in the game you see him punching through walls. So it looks like he's gained a lot of strength and a lot of powers from wearing the suit all the time.
Yeah, my Hebrew is kind of shaky, but the dot Yakud,
that's the one. Yeah.
Nice. It looks cool. It looks like almost like a pyramid head.
I'm guessing he's going to be wearing it the entire game.
Yeah.
It looks like there are some returning characters. The big guy, Max Hass.
Yeah.
It looks like he's back. One thing you pointed out was that the dual wielding isn't stuck to the same weapon anymore.
Right.
You can have a totally different weapon in each hand,
which is cool.
Which I love. The aesthetic, I'm hugely sold on. This creepy, like overly friendly Nazi officer shtick always works, always makes you feel super unsettled.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of that. I'm guessing he gets his head caved into the counter next to him.
And you always feel good about that.
Yeah. That's the thing about Wolfenstein. You can play it guilt-free because you're killing Nazis.
Yeah, and then, I mean,
there he is with his head caved in.
Yeah, it seems like it's going for like a Fallout kind of like 50s, 60s Americana vibe too. Like
I got
music with the diners, the overall like vibe of it.
The tripping acid and big afros.
I love the game show they showed. That the name of the game show is German ... or else. Everybody's super happy. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, there's like a new resistance group that you're helping. It's just like inspiring hope in them and having them fight back against Nazi occupiers.
Always good.
Yeah.
And dropping acid.
Yeah,
this little cute little character shows up at the end. I hope he's a part of the game as well.
Frau Engel from the first game, she's the one that you have that pretty tense conversation with on the train toward the beginning.
Yeah, she died really horribly in the previous game.
What happened to her?
She was like, it was when you were sent to the prison camp and you escape, and she gets like just mangled by a massive machine.
Really?
So
she's very not mangled now.
Yeah, maybe the supernatural stuff from Old Blood.
Unless I'm completely misremembering, but I am 99% sure that she got horribly
in the VO. I think it was Anya telling BJ that Engel was hunting him, right? Didn't she say like Frau Engel's been hunting you?
It wouldn't surprise me because he did do a number on them.
Yeah, I mean I'd be pissed at him. But then it was weird. We were talking about New Orleans potentially being in like an obsidian fallout.
Somehow
but you go down to New Orleans in this, and then they were shooting at alligators. What do you think of that? Like, it's not just going to be... You think it's going to be like an American, like, hopping across the country kind of thing? Like, if you're trying to get the whole country to ride up against
That would be cool, maybe.
We'd have to go to other places.
Yeah, and maybe if they want to keep the New Colossus connection, that maybe New York would be the end point.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it would be good.
Great.
Exploring more of America means you get more environments, more scenery, more like gameplay elements. We did see some, like, you mentioned that it felt a bit Far Cry 5 with this scene with the religious aspect, and there were KKK members being arrested.
This occupation of America, but like also like extreme right people.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean, like obviously, like in this case, like radical people, and in Far Cry 5, radical as well. But it's weird that like it's kind of a coincidence that both are bringing it to American soil with these like clearly hugely political kind of storylines.
Yeah, again, I mean, again, if you're killing KKK members, you're not going to feel guilty about it, right?
Right, and then like BJ gets on his like the mechanical dog. I love how it started. First of all, how have we not talked about this yet? The live action. It was like an Andy Griffith show.
Yeah.
The girl's calling Weasel, her mechanical dog, to come help the police officers, but then he starts breathing fire on everything.
It felt like they actually took old footage of some like obscure movie and interspersed that. Like, I'm curious how they did that.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
And as much as I loved New Order, it was kind of, after a while, there's a lot of this industrial, European, medieval look. I would love it if they actually did go across America. See the New Orleans right here. You see the alligator coming up soon. Yeah, there we go.
The thing they did with New Order, they gave it so much character by doing German versions of songs that you'd expect in that time. So now it looks like they're doing German versions of the television you'd find in that time.
Yeah.
Really like ground it and give it a sense of kind of that alternate timeline.
Yeah, and you, Dave, you said you mentioned when you were watching gameplay that it looks like you're using the suit itself in like your abilities maybe. I wonder, because you have the 3 perk trees in the first game, which like based on challenges you complete, you'll unlock new ones. I wonder if that's going to affect, the suit's going to affect those at all.
Yeah,
maybe that's like going to be the RPG-ish part of it.
I think so. I mean, in the previous game, it was given to the leader of resistance, the old lady, because she'd lost the use of her legs. So I'm assuming BJ gets that. We see him punch through walls. It wouldn't surprise me if you get like a strength perk that does that, an agility perk that lets you jump up super high, and maybe something else to complement that. Maybe the whole different dual wielding thing becomes a perk.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if that power suit was the core mechanic that gave a lot of the BJ its power.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh no! Why?
I just wanted to talk about powerful BJ.
Wolfenstein 2, October 27th. As with the rest of Bethesda's press conference, it will be out this year. That's 2 weeks after The Evil Within 2. September 15th, Dishonored 2 DLC. Elder Scrolls Legends Heroes of Skyrim is coming June 29th. A lot of stuff coming out this whole year. You're still laughing, aren't you?
Give him a moment.
All right, all in all, Dave, what did you think of the conference?
I'm super excited, super stoked for Wolfenstein. Everything else kind of lukewarm to me, to be honest.
Justin, you're crying.
Justin, that was so good. You did say it made you cry.
What did you think of the conference? Good showing?
That was fun. It's especially because all of this is coming in 2017. Like, that's such an exciting thing to say. Like, it lets you know Bethesda has stuff that they're hiding, stuff that we're going to learn, that's going to leak out eventually.
Yeah.
But 2017 is going to be so crazy.
Yeah. That is, you wonder what they would have talked about if they went past, like, into 2018. But, Jess, overall, what do you think of, like, this year's
I think there are definitely bright spots. I'm excited for Evil Within. Wolfenstein looks great. They make beautiful games. Kind of wish I'd spent a little less time on things we already knew about, like Morrowind. But, you know, I mean, even the Lincoln Switch, like, that's a fun moment for everyone. I'll take it.
Yeah, if you've been paying attention to like news and leaks lately over the past week or a couple weeks, then it might not have been too many surprises for you at the press conference tonight for Bethesda. But all in all, yeah, everything's coming out this year. 2 new sequels, Fallout 4 VR, Doom VR, Elder Scrolls Legends coming to phones later this month, Skyrim on Switch, finally confirmed, even though it somehow wasn't before. But yeah, that is the Bethesda press conference. We are going to be live on GameSpot's E3 stage tomorrow for Ubisoft and Sony later in the day. Going to do a pre and post show for those and stream those from YouTube, Twitch, GameSpot as well. We also, like I said, have Dishonored DLC coming to the lobby, our live show Wednesday morning on our downstairs stage. We're going to have Harvey Smith on to talk about that. And then also just throughout the week, we're going to have people coming on to either do interviews or just play games in general. So, of course, stay tuned to get more news from E3, from GameSpot, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Bye.
See ya.